Let's talk about Kellen Mond and quarterbacks as we await the appearance of one Ron Johnson. So Arif and I, we're buddies. We stand shoulder to shoulder sometimes in the hot Egan sun, and we watch Kellen Mond not play well. It's if it's not one thing, it's another. It's fumbled snaps. It's check downs. It's tucking the ball and running in a practice setting, unable to find a first read. It's indecisiveness. I can't think of a day where I walked away impressed by Kellen Mond. And by contrast, I think Kirk Cousins has played pretty well this camp. And the gap between them is astounding. And they've tried. They've tried to give him second team reps. So I guess the level of competition is a tad higher that he's going against. But it's not good, Arif. So you've borne witness to the same stuff I've seen. Tell me I'm right or tell me I'm wrong.
All right. Well, I'll preface this by saying I ultimately think that you're right, but I will say a couple of things. One, he did actually look fine on the first day that he threw the ball in training camp, so I'll give him that. It's every other day that gives me concern. But beyond that, you do have to remember that when he's with the second team, very often it's the first team defense out there. That's just for whatever reason, that's the way they're doing a lot of these reps. First team offense goes against second team defense. First team defense goes up against second team offense, at least for a while. Obviously, by the time they get to situational and some other elements of the team drills, they do match strength against strength. And so he's often going up against people like Patrick Peterson, Harrison Smith, Eric Kendricks, Daniil Hunter. And so you do have to kind of give him that when he's throwing to Amir Smith-Marset, when Amir Smith-Marset is covered by Patrick Peterson. That's just not going to be an easy situation for him. That said, when you do see receivers streaking open on an over route for a touchdown and Kellen Mond misses that guy to dump off to Zach Davidson,
My guy.
That's great for Zach Davidson, bad for Kellen Mond, because you've got an open receiver in the end zone, in your progression, in your timing that you're declining to choose for a dump off. That's not good. It's also not good that when he does take these deep shots, he is horrendous. And they're not even that deep. They're like 15 yards deep. But as soon as he's either off platform or throwing a deep shot, he is inaccurate. He consistently leads defensive backs into receivers instead of receivers away from defensive backs. It's bad. His timing is off, as you've mentioned. And the thing is, you and I are standing on the sidelines. We're not professional quarterbacks. We're not, we don't have an innate sense of when the ball should get out. And so when we can see that the ball is coming out late, that must mean it is catastrophically late, because he always seems to wait for a half second to confirm whether or not he should throw the ball. And while that is, I think, an understandable impulse for a rookie going in team drills, I think that by the time you're in your second year and you're doing it against air, that's a problem. The fact that he is doing it when there are no defenders on the field and he's waiting to see if his receiver is getting out of his break, that's brutal to me. I don't even know if he's technically looking to see if someone is open, or I don't know if he's technically confirming. He might just be that kind of quarterback that when he sees it, it takes him a second to throw it. That's not good. That's just not going to win you NFL games. And the fact that he's got a strong arm is irrelevant if he's not going to be able to fit tight windows with good timing. It's irrelevant if he doesn't have the ability to hit deep with any accuracy. And it's irrelevant if he can't see when someone's about to break open, as opposed to can only see when somebody is already open. For me, this is I don't know if catastrophic's the right word, because it is just a backup quarterback, but for him, it is a catastrophic camp for him, because he's supposed to have the second season where things slow down for him, where things are getting to the point where he has the ability to compete. And if you started a game tomorrow and Kirk came down with COVID or something, I would absolutely once again trust Sean Mannion instead of Kellen Mond out there.
Kirk
So
would
you're
be
telling us there's a chance. Got
Kirk
it.
would be relaxing nicely at home.
Cool.
Right. Relaxing.
Yeah, he'd be all relaxed. So Luke Inman, having heard that just scathing indictment of Kellen Mond, the other side of the argument is you want to roll the dice with Mannion again after what you saw at Lambeau, after what you saw, his previous start a couple of years before, and just generally, I think his game manager persona, that we kind of understand what he is. Which way would you go with it?
I don't want to. I don't want to roll with Sean Mannion, but it sounds like I don't have a choice, really. And Arif's not the only one who's mentioned. I've seen a bunch of, I haven't been out there like you two, but seen plenty of, not great observations and news and notes from Kellen Mond so far. I would love to be able to sit here and say, hey, you drafted a third-round developmental guy last year. He's showing some serious strides. He's got some potential, a little bit more movement in the pocket, maybe can create some plays with his feet, unlike Kirk Cousins. But that's simply just not the case. And is it too early to give up on him? Maybe, but maybe you could say he's learning a new playbook again, a new system. KOC's maybe a little bit more exotic in his looks and verbiage and things like that. But all signs are pointing this guy is nowhere near close to being a guy that you can depend on as your number 2 backup quarterback. So Sean Mannion, yeah, not great. I don't want to roll with him by any means, but at least you know what you're getting. And game manager, quote unquote. Even that is pretty, I think, being nice for Sean Mannion from what we saw from the Green Bay game last year. So no great options here, Sam, by any means. But you would think by now, I think they played it right on paper. You got your star number 1 quarterback. You got the vet, the clipboard holder, the veteran who's obviously going to help groom the young kid along. But this young kid just never really took any steps to show you that even if he's still a year or 2 out, there's still enough potential here for him to grow into that number 2 role. But sounds like at least early in camp, what are we, a week in? That sounds like that is not the case.
Yeah, I'll give Luke Braun a shot here, and then we'll go to our guest of honor, Ron Johnson. Luke?
Yeah, if you want somebody other than Mond and Mannion, I don't know what's out there, short of like trying to wake Cam Newton up.
Jimmy.
Oh my God.
Jimmy.
Jesus. It's dark. So here's what I'm going to do. All right. I'm going to put on the tinfoil and I got a theory.
So
I've got a literal.
Have that by your computer all the time?
I have a tinfoil hat on my computer for precisely this
for
reason.
Locked On
Yes.
Vikings? Okay, great.
Yes. So here's the deal. Kellen Mond is we'll go with a development plan, a development arc. And my tinfoil theory is that this is what it's supposed to look like. It was supposed to look like this last year, but last year, because of COVID and what that did to his body, call last year a rehab year. Now, don't give me that look, Arif. I've got a tinfoil hat on right now.
That reinforces my look.
That's why he's looking at you. Okay.
I can't stop laughing. This is too good.
But now, like when the Vikings drafted Kellen Mond and I actually looked into him, my first thought was, okay, this dude needs to have everything about his game undone and rebuilt from the ground up, and then maybe some of his physical talent can be utilized. But the way he plays right now, it'll never work. And so that means you have to change the way his footwork is. You had to change the way his release was. You had to change the way he reads defenses, which, while that's all being undone and you're asking him to break all his habits and what he knows how to do, then you have to, he's going to be really a catastrophe in the meantime until you reteach him the right way to do everything. And so he's kind of going to go down before he goes up. He's down. That's it. That's the conspiracy.
The YouTube viewers are just treated to Arif Hasan's face during that tinfoil argument. Thank you, Luke Braun.